If dinosaurs were brought back to the present day, could we successfully keep them in a zoo? Now, right off the bat, dinosaurs wouldn't just walk into our world and be fine. The air they evolved in wasn't the same as ours. During parts of the Mesozoic, oxygen levels fluctuated and may have been somewhat higher than today's 21%, and the climate was warmer and more humid, conditions their biology adapted to. For massive animals, even small environmental changes matter. At that scale, breathing isn't trivial, it's everything. So realistically, you're likely looking at stress, reduced performance, and possibly difficulty surviving long-term. But let's say that since you've already managed to clone dinosaurs, you've also tweaked their biology to remove that problem. Next, we have to deal with the challenge of keeping large animals. We already manage animals like African elephants and rhinos. Some dinosaurs, like Parasaurolophus, were large herbivores in a similar weight class to modern megafauna, so giving them a lot of space might seem like it could solve the problem, right? Not exactly. For a dinosaur zoo to actually work and make money, you'd need multiple species. And here's the issue. The Mesozoic era lasted around 186 million years, meaning dinosaurs didn't all live together. They existed in completely different ecosystems. Take Spinosaurus. It likely lived in river systems and wetlands, so to keep one successfully, you'd need deep water access, stable fish populations, humid swamp-like conditions, and a large land area on top of that. Now compare that to Triceratops, which would need open floodplains, grazing space, and herd dynamics, completely different requirements. Then there's Argentinosaurus, one of the largest dinosaurs ever at over 20 meters long. That's basically a walking building. Elephant habitats already require acres, but a sauropod like this could require kilometers of roaming space. And it doesn't stop there. You may also need to recreate parts of their ecosystems, including plant life and possibly microorganisms. It's possible some dinosaurs could adapt to modern environments, but we don't know that for sure. But even if you solve all of that, the next problem could literally eat your entire budget. Feeding every species becomes a logistical challenge. A predator like Tyrannosaurus rex likely needed hundreds of pounds of meat per week, possibly in the form of whole carcasses. Spinosaurus likely had a fish-heavy diet, meaning you'd need to maintain large, stable aquatic systems, basically running a full-scale fishery on the side. Then there are herbivores, which don't stop eating. Large herbivorous dinosaurs could require hundreds of kilograms of vegetation per day. For comparison, an African elephant eats about 150 kilograms per day. Now scale that up. You'd need dedicated farmland, continuous harvesting, and massive supply chains. At that point, feeding the animals becomes its own industry. Even if you had unlimited money, the next problem might be the most dangerous: security and containment. Modern zoos already deal with escapes, barrier failures, and human error. Now replace a lion with a 7 to 10-ton predator. A Tyrannosaurus rex had a bone-crushing bite and immense strength, enough to seriously test any barrier. That said, it likely wouldn't behave like a movie monster constantly hunting humans, but even without aggression, its size alone makes it dangerous. A herd of Triceratops could stampede, break containment, and injure people through sheer force. Even Parasaurolophus, a herbivore, could seriously injure someone accidentally. For context, modern elephants kill around 500 people per year, often unintentionally. To safely contain dinosaurs, you'd need multi-layer containment systems, reinforced concrete structures, and redundant fail-safes, because one failure isn't just an incident, it's a disaster. It's already hard to keep them contained, but what about keeping them mentally healthy? We don't know exactly how dinosaurs behaved, but we do know they are closely related to birds. And birds, especially crows, are highly intelligent. They can solve problems, learn patterns, and recognize faces. If some theropods had similar traits, they would explore, test boundaries, and possibly even cooperate. Even modern animals like apes and elephants require enrichment, stimulation, and social interaction. Now imagine something as strong as a dinosaur with curiosity and memory. A bored dinosaur doesn't just sit still, it starts figuring things out, and if it becomes stressed, it could become unpredictable or dangerous. Then there's disease. Dinosaurs have been extinct for 66 million years, which means we have no medical baseline, no confirmed disease models, and no proven treatments. If a Tyrannosaurus rex gets sick, we wouldn't even know where to start. We'd need to study metabolism, immune systems, and drug responses from scratch. They could die from modern bacteria or introduce unknown pathogens to humans. So your dinosaur zoo wouldn't just be a zoo, it would also be a world-class research facility, constantly developing new medicine and technology. And even then, you'd be learning through trial and error. Finally, let's say you solve everything. The habitat works, the animals are fed, and security is under control. Would a dinosaur zoo even be worth it? Because what we're describing isn't really a zoo, it's one of the most expensive facilities ever built. For comparison, Walt Disney World cost billions, and Georgia Aquarium cost hundreds of millions. A dinosaur zoo would realistically land somewhere between $10 to $50 million to build, with $500 million to $2 billion per year just to operate, factoring in feeding, staffing, research, and maintenance. Now yes, people would show up, potentially tens of millions of visitors a year, generating billions in revenue. But here's the catch. To keep dinosaurs healthy, enclosures would need to be enormous, meaning visitors might walk in and see nothing because the animal is kilometers away, like a safari park, but worse. So financially, it might work if everything goes perfectly, but in reality, you're running one of the most complex, risky, and expensive operations ever created, all for entertainment, and it would need to run flawlessly every single day just to survive. So, while keeping dinosaurs isn't as difficult as inventing time travel or forgetting that one time you embarrassed yourself in front of your crush, it would still be one of the largest and most expensive operations humanity has ever attempted. Technically, the technology could exist if we scale up and refine what we already have, but even then, it might not be profitable, and more importantly, it might not even be sustainable. Because you're not just building a zoo, you're managing entire ecosystems, managing unpredictable animals, and solving problems no one has ever solved before. One mistake could cost millions, or lives. So the real question isn't just can we do it, it's should we?